Hello beauties, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Janelle, and if you are not new here, hi, my name is still Janelle. Thank you so much for being here. So today we're going to be talking about all of the books that I read this month, but before we get into that, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already, as well as click the notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. I upload every Friday and Sunday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And also don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like this video and these kind of videos. And if you do not, please leave a comment down below of videos that you would like to see on my channel, and then maybe I'll start incorporating some of that. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into the video. So I'm going to try to get through this really quickly because my camera is going to die soon. So I do want to say that this month was not my best reading month. I definitely let time get away from me. So yeah, time was just not on my side this month. So I did a lot of graphic novel reading this month. So it's just been one of those months, okay? This is not in any particular order. I'm just gonna pick up a book and go with it. So first book that I want to talk about is Love at Last. This is by Jefferson and Elizabeth Key. So this is one of the marriage books that I read this month, and I really enjoyed it. It was very informative, very helpful, and I definitely feel like a little bit more prepared like going into marriage, because you can't ever be fully prepared, but it's good to be as prepared as you can be. But yeah, so I really enjoyed this. I gave this 5 stars just because it was helpful and it's applicable, so I can use it in my everyday marriage life. So yeah, this one was really awesome. Another book that I read this month is Aquacorn Cove by Katie O'Neill, and I absolutely loved this book. It was so cute, so fun. I loved the story, I loved the characters, I loved the atmosphere of it. It was just so like creative and just very, like, I felt like I was jumping into this fantasy world, and I absolutely loved it. It was so cute. I want this thing as a pet. I don't know what it is, but I want it as a pet. It was amazing. I gave this 5 stars as well. I had a lot of 5-star reads actually, but I did give this one 5 stars. And another book that I read this month is When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole, and I absolutely can't with this book, okay? I will say that it started off kind of slow, and I felt like we weren't getting enough for it to be a thriller from the beginning. Once I got like halfway to a little over halfway is when it started to pick up, I feel like. So I guess it just depends on what kind of reader you are. If you are okay with the beginning kind of starting off slow and learning about the characters like in depth, then this would be a really good read for you. But for me, when I read a thriller, I want it to start like almost immediately and keep me hooked. This was really hard for me to kind of like stay hooked in. But once we got to all the twists and the turns and the thrills, I loved it. It was so creative, very creepy, and definitely gave me some chills. So I really enjoyed this book as well. Another book that I read this month is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, and I absolutely loved this. This book was so fun, and I cannot wait to read the rest of the series. I think it's going to be so good, so fun. I am loving the characters in here, loving the character relationships, loving the enemies to lovers that's kind of going on. So this is really fun. This is amazing. I love this, but I also love the storyline, like just the way that it began in like the real world and then going over to fairy. It's so fun. It's such a fun read, and it really takes you into this world, and I have so enjoyed it. Oh, I should say that I gave When No One Is Watching, I think I gave that like 3.5 stars just because it was such a slow start, but I still really liked it and enjoyed it. And as far as the rating for The Cruel Prince, I would definitely give this 4.5 stars. It's not quite a 5-star read, just because of some little teeny things, but I'm not going to mention those because I don't want to spoil anything about the book if you haven't read it. But it definitely isn't like my favorite book, but it is really, really good, and I am excited to read the rest of the series. Now, this next book that I read, I honestly read it because I wanted to read another graphic novel, but I didn't want to read any of my graphic novels because I'm saving them for the month of March when I know I won't have that much reading time. So I decided to read one of Jonathan's comic books, and I read Injustice. This is Gods Among Us Year 2, Volume 1. So basically, Superman goes bad kind of thing. And I did enjoy it, I think. It was very confusing for me because I started like in year 2 and I also don't know that much about like DC. I'm very much more of a Marvel kind of person, but it was a little confusing for me. Like I had to have Jonathan like explain like what happened before this because I was just so lost, and because I started in like the middle of it, there was really no character development, so that made it worse, but it still was nice. I think I would like it more if I started like from the beginning and then got to this point. But I give this 3 stars, and it's not because it's terrible, it's because I literally didn't understand it. So this got 3 stars, but it still was pretty fun to read. Yeah, I do want to read more comics, so this was kind of fun, but 3 stars. And the last book that I'm going to talk about is The Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill as well. This I enjoyed probably more than Aquacorn Cove. Like, this was so cute. I want this little dog with daisies on its head, and her hair is beautiful, first of all. Like, I want pink hair. I absolutely love this. I love the idea of tea dragons. I think it is such a clever concept, and it's so just fun. This is so much fun. This was beautiful art, wonderful writing, very light and like easy to read, and I really enjoyed it. And I do want to read more of Katie O'Neill because I have enjoyed both of these graphic novels so far by her, so I do want to read more of her. But yeah, so this I'm gonna give 5 stars, as well as Aquacorn Cove I gave 5 stars too, because they are like probably my favorite graphic novels, but this one I probably enjoyed a little bit more. But I think it's all personal preference. And then the last book that I want to talk about that I haven't finished, I'm in the middle of reading it, and I still have like a day left of January technically. By the time you guys are seeing this, it's going to be the last day, but for me it's not. So I'm in the middle of reading this book, and I think I'm going to have it finished, but I wanted to talk about it anyways. And it is The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. So I am absolutely loving this book. Like, if I finish this book by the end of January, this is going to be my book of the month. No pun intended, but book of the month, you know. But I am so enjoying this. There has been a twist. There was a twist already, like 50 pages in, and it completely changes the direction of the story, and I'm just like, what? I mean, my mind was blown. So yeah, this has been really fun. This is definitely a thriller. Like, from the get-go, I'm like, holy crap, we're diving deep. Okay. But I have really enjoyed this. I am currently on page 91, and it's a book that's less than 300 pages, so I definitely think I can finish it in like the next 2 days, but I did want to talk about it because it's so good, and I am going to include it in the books that I've read this January. But this is amazing. If you have not gotten your hands on this book, go buy this book. It is so good. Oh my gosh, it might become my favorite book. Like, it is so, you guys have no idea. Just buy the book, just buy it. It's so good. Okay, so that is all of the books that I read this month. That makes 7 books for me, which I feel like is okay. For me, knowing that it's 7 books only because of the graphic novels is like, okay, you could have done a little bit more reading, but this month was really busy, which makes me nervous for next month, because next month will be a month away from the wedding. So yeah, I think it's going to be really crazy. So hopefully I get a bunch of reading done. But yeah, 7 books is still like a great goal. For me, I know that I can do a little bit better, and that's why I'm just kind of like, this was an okay reading month. Camera just shut off. But If you read 3 or 4 books a month, that is okay. If you read a book a month, that is okay. If you read 1 book a year, that is okay. How many books you read a month or a year does not define if you are a reader or not a reader. I'm kind of learning this myself because YouTube is pushing me to make sure that I'm reading so that I have stuff to talk about on my channel. But I will say that as soon as you start pressuring yourself to read more is when you're going to go into a reading slump, and then you're not going to enjoy reading. So if you are reading and it feels like a chore, stop reading. Don't force yourself to do something if you're not truly enjoying it. So I did want to throw that out there before, anybody gets upset that I'm upset with myself for only reading 7 books. That is a personal goal for me. I know that I can read more than 7 books in a month, especially when, how many of them? 3 of them were graphic novels. So that is just, again, personal goal. But yeah, that is all that I have for this video today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I so enjoy making videos for you guys, and I'm super excited for more. But I will see you in my next video.